Hello, Gemini, man. It's so dark in here tonight. I don't know what's going on. This is Adrian Igo, Capricorntigress of Astrology, a look inside, coming to you with your horoscope for November 2018. November. Happy November, Gemini. Happy November. And this is going to, I guess, hopefully resonate for Gemini and Gemini rising people. So when I look at the chart, the first thing I see, of course, is that I see that horrible Uranus in your 12th house. I'm not exactly sure how this Uranus in your 12th house is going to pan out for you. I have a husband, or I guess we're still technically married. So I have a husband with Gemini rising who has most of his Taurus planets in the 12th house. And he left me suddenly out of the blue when the Sun and Venus were conjunct, opposing the full moon in Taurus. I think I had actually even warned him it was going to happen back in the summer. But it's one of those things that you forget in the heat of the moment. And I now believe it was all meant to be. When I look at this chart for someone with Gemini, it's the first time I looked at it, by the way, really. I'm like, wow, it's kind of like the ending planet. It leads, I don't know if you can see this, it leads with Venus, the heart, and it ends with Uranus. It's almost like a complete look, like right there, look at that. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to discuss this with you. I don't know if any other Geminis or Gemini risings have had a sudden, ending like that, where maybe you decided you had enough, and that whatever you've been hiding, whatever that was hidden and buried inside in the closet, packed away in that deep subconscious that you might have been secretly thinking all along. When Uranus hits that, it can make it comes out. I mean, so you might have already experienced something like that, but during the month of November, just know that Uranus is teetering between Taurus and Aries at like 29 degrees Aries, 0 degrees Taurus or something. I think it's like 0 degrees Taurus right now, and it's opposing Scorpio. But it would most likely, it might not be so bad near the end of the month of November. That'll be good for like Sag or whatever. But for you Geminis, I'm just saying, be cautious of, there's probably some crazy stuff going on subconsciously, like deep inside. You've been maybe holding in some things and thinking some things and stewing over some things. And, you might not even be subconsciously aware that there's something really bubbling up in there, but it might all come out this month, because 0 degrees is it's a fate degree, and it's acting up right now. Now, there is a lot of also confusion. I just sense that for Gemini, because Neptune is in the solar 10th house. So, and it's in Pisces, and it's retrograde. And I think it goes forward in the month. But, confusion. There's a lot of confused thinking right now. It's hard to see clearly, because Chiron is also in Pisces. And so Neptune and Chiron are there. So, things are a little nebulous sometimes. And Geminis like to think clearly. You guys are ruled by Mercury. Where's Mercury this month? Mercury's in your, seventh house. So your partnerships, your marriage, your relationships. I could see if you were upset over something where you would suddenly just think, I can't stand my wife, I think I'll leave her. So yeah, that can happen. Now, one of the issues too is, so by the way, that just means with all that Mercury in this, it's your ruler, it's in the 7th house this month. You're going to be thinking a lot probably about your relationships and partnerships, and your wife, your husband, or whatever, you might have just left each other, just like me and my Gemini rising did. So, there will be some probably hidden thinking there. And there is Pluto and Saturn in the solar eighth house of Capricorn. Capricorn, that's all those deep hidden emotions and thoughts and the deep psychological issues anyway. And with Pluto going through that eighth house, all of those deep things are going to come to the fore and come out. But the thing that is really lucky for you Geminis this month is that Venus is down in Libra. And it's, because it retrograded into Libra. And the good thing about that is, well, Libra is trying Gemini. So that's really good for you, Gems. And it's in the fifth house. So, and Libra loves to be in the fifth house. Okay. That is romance. I would say if you did get rid of a partner, and even though my husband always denied he would ever be a cheater, I'm almost positive it's because there is another love interest. And for most of you gems out there, there is another love interest. Venus is in the fifth house in the sign of Libra. And so it just shows that there's a high likelihood that there is a great romance brewing for Geminis in the month of November. And good for you. I mean, but there it is. Also, for most of the year, you've had Jupiter in the sixth house. So your health has been on the rise, I would think. You've been feeling pretty hardy. Your work should be doing pretty well. And you should be feeling lucky from your work. I would even say you might have even found love at work. I've said this for several months, and this is rang true for Gemini and for Taurus. Now, for you, there is, Mars has been going through your solar ninth house. So you might be feeling like you've been learning a lot over, the month of November, and you're just really even spiritually learning a lot and doing more because it's action. It's Mars in Aquarius. So, you might find yourself pursuing more knowledge in certain areas that have to do with things that deal with Aquarius. We're just feeling more inventive and more creative and just doing new things that you're learning, you're building knowledge and maybe even growing spiritually. What I would hate to see with that Mars is maybe arguing over legal things or arguing over like dogma and belief systems and things like that. Because what a waste that is. And that would be like a waste of this beautiful trine that Venus and Mars have to each other over the month, which is trining gems. So take advantage of the good. Take advantage of the good. There's good. And I would think that with that lovely Venus in Libra, it's a great time to heal partnerships, especially when it's trine Mars. You might be able to talk through things very peacefully, and whatever problems that were brewing previously have been dissipated in something definitely. So I would take advantage of that situation. Now, what I wanted to do was go through, and by the way, this is my personal intuitive interpretation of the planets for the chart of horoscope, a general horoscope for the sign of Gemini for the month of November of 2018. And so what I'm going to do at this point is I go over where the planetary actions are occurring, because there are several aspects that are occurring in the month of November, and I really want to make sure that you're aware of them. I mean, I've already missed telling you about Jupiter trine Chiron, which we're actually experiencing that right now. And it might be why I'm able to step back from my own individual pain of, ending my marriage basically, and discuss it in a really kind of intellectual way, in a spiritual way, because it's an opportunity for all of us to heal old wounds. It's a time to, maybe smooth over the pain that would normally be so devastating. But now that I'm looking at it in a more philosophical light, and so it all makes more sense now, and it's really easy for me to forgive. I'm not saying I'll forget, how it went, how it happened, but I think I understand that were probably in pain. And so look at your relationships and where your wounds are, and take this time um, to heal those wounds, and do it in a positive way, because this is a rare opportunity. We have Jupiter in Scorpio trying Chiron in Pisces, and Pisces is a very compassionate sign, and Scorpio is a very deep, sign. And I think with the luck of Jupiter, this is just a beautiful time to heal. Probably healing you've needed to do for quite some time. Now, the Sun in Scorpio trines Neptune in Pisces on the 6th. And that's just shows that there's going to be a lot of creativity. For you, that Scorpio is falling in your 6th house, and Neptune is up in your solar 10th house. You may have some really good experiences of doing creative things at work, maybe getting ahead at work or making new changes at work. Something positive, though. It is a positive thing because it's a trine. So I would take advantage of that. On the same day, the 6th of November, Uranus is retrograde, or the retrograde, Uranus has been retrograde, but it goes into Aries. And things are going to regress backwards in some way. Of course, in America, that's election day. So, we're all waiting to see what happens that day. But it's Uranus, things are going to go backwards a little bit that day. So it'll be interesting. And in your chart, that falls in your 11th house, social area, friends, groups, and things like that. So maybe things will get a little bit better, not as crazy in that area as it has been lately. On the 7th, there's a new moon in Scorpio, and that is going to be in that workhouse again. That new moon is a time for a new start, and there'll be some deep emotions. You'll be able to start some new projects, and you'll be able to just maybe go deep inside and look at things and heal, because it's in your solar 6th house, and that's a great time to heal yourself. Just healing in all ways, actually. So, I would take advantage of that. It's a very good time for a lot of people to heal old wounds. Jupiter enters Sagittarius on the 8th of November, and that is going to be affecting your solar 7th house of relationships and partnerships and marriage and things like that. And Jupiter is going to be home where it loves to be. So there might be some optimism and some big dreams and things like that. Hopefully it'll be positive no matter what happens in that area of relationships. And I think the whole entire area of relationships is going to improve for Gemini. So that is a very, very good sign. And it all really kind of begins now as Jupiter goes home to Sagittarius on the 8th of November. Remember that day. It's a big day. Yeah, definitely a big day. But also remember, Jupiter is opposing Gemini. So, there is going to be that weird seesaw effect that, yeah. So just be aware of that, all that energy that Jupiter is going on in across from you, not in yourself, but maybe in your partner. And, there's going to be a lot of energy in developing new partnerships, I think, or improving old partnerships. If things should be able to be more positive overall, no matter what happens. bear with me, guys. I made tea with something that was on my, I think it's bergamot, and it tastes so nasty. And I feel like my mouth is like, ugh, I can't explain it, but I feel dry. So just bear with me as I'm trying to get through this here. Oh, it's weird. I keep thinking I better stop drinking. I keep thinking if I keep drinking it, it'll get easier. No, no, thank goodness I have some water. Okay. Now I am trying a new lipstick on today as well. I just joined this company that promotes lip gloss and lipsticks, and I do have that on. So that could be it as well. I'm just a whole new experience. And with that bergamot, it was just a weird tingly feeling I got with my mouth. And I wonder, I don't know if it's that I've got something I should have said or shouldn't have said for you Geminis, because I almost feel guilty moving forward past that Jupiter enter Sagittarius, because it's such a big aspect for Gemini. Like, I can't put it into words. I mean, it's like a once in a 12-year thing. And so, man, I just feel like it's just going to be so much luck in the area of partnerships and marriage and relationships and things like that. So I hope you do take advantage of that Jupiter in the seventh house, because it's a beautiful thing. And especially since you also have Venus transiting, I mean, at least for the moment, it's still in Libra. So you might even be right at this moment thinking you're in this amazing idealistic partnership, or you've got great expectations for some new partnership or something like that. That is possible right now, definitely. On the 9th of November, Venus is trine Mars, and Venus, I saw that coming a few days ago, didn't I? It's relationship harmony. It's inner balance, balancing out the relationship, feeling good with love and with relationships, and feeling pleasant again. So if you've been kind of out of sorts and not feeling good about yourself or about love or about relationships or all of those things, this is going to give an opportunity to smooth that over, maybe even work out some old things and at least heal the wounds. This, I think I should call this whole month Heal Partnership Wounds for you Geminis, because the luck is going to be there from now on. From the 8th of November on, that's where all your luck is going to be, in that area of partnerships. Now, on the 15th of November, Mars enters Pisces, and that is in your solar 10th house. That's, you're going to have a lot of action, but also compassion. You might even become known for being a compassionate person, or a person who takes action, or maybe even known for being a person who's aggressive. And that's what you want to watch out, is getting a reputation for being someone who is overly aggressive and maybe, out of control. You don't want to give off that out of control. And I really picked that up because once Uranus pops out of Aries, because it's only going to retrograde there for a while, and then it's going to pop back into Taurus, and Mars is going to be in Pisces for a while. So at one point or another, that Mars in Pisces is going to be occurring while Uranus is going to be sitting in the 12th house of Pisces. And so there's just this undercurrent of like insanity going on. Okay. Just an undercurrent, I'm just saying. And Pisces has a tendency to be just a little bit confused. So, I love you, Pisces, I do. But I just know that, especially with Mars there, it's just going to increase some of that confusion. I just don't want you guys to just get hurt, because doing things on blind faith or something like that. And since it's in the 12th house, whatever comes, it would be quick. It's, once Uranus is there on the cusp of the 12th like that. So I am a little bit concerned, but this should bring in some compassion, more compassion. If you've been feeling like you've been lacking that, then it might come in oodles, or it could just be that Mars just really, I just hope it doesn't harden the compassion that Pisces naturally has. Either way, it's going to be creative. There should be more active compassion, and it's in your 10th house. Maybe you'll have probably receiving more compassion from others, because I just see people just coming up to you and going, oh, you poor thing. Oh, it's going to be okay. Oh, don't worry. Just Chiron's there all wounded, and Neptune's up there all confused, and here comes Mars. So yeah, I can see that might be what's going on. Now, on the 16th of November, Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius. Now that's a little frustrating, isn't it? Because then it could really mess up any progress that was made in the area of communication for you and your partner. Because remember, Mercury is in the 7th house for Gemini. So I'm thinking that retrograde, I'm hoping that, it doesn't mean that your communication will break down completely. I think what it is, it's going to be a time to reflect, and maybe you might have even regret, and guys might actually start to talk to each other, because it's a time to, just everything. You're reflecting and just maybe even reconnecting and everything. If it has on it, that's pretty much what you're doing during this time, especially when it comes to communication. So just be aware of that, because communications could break down in the area of partnerships when Mercury goes retrograde, and you really don't want that. So be aware of that. On that same day, on the 16th of November, Venus is going direct in Scorpio. Oh gosh, I'm going for that tea again. My throat is so dry. I'm just wondering if it's the tea that's making it dry. Well, they say when Venus goes direct in Scorpio, that love is going to improve. It's finally going to get better. And let's hope so, because that would be really your 6th house. But, it would be a good time. It's right there on the cusp between the 5th house and the 6th house. I think you're going to start to feel better. You might be able to heal your relationship. Yeah, that's good. But you are going to feel healed. You're going to improve, because it's your solar 6th house. It's where you get to heal. I can sense that will happen when Venus goes direct in Scorpio. I think lots of things will improve when Venus goes direct in Scorpio. So, but I do see where your work and your health are going to start to heal, and you should start to feel better about things. On the 19th, Mars is square Jupiter. Well, yeah. Well, that's work, and also legal things, maybe, or travel, or education, or philosophical. You know what I'm thinking? Don't get in any kind of philosophical disputes at work. Sometimes people get into arguments, because whenever I see Mars in the 9th house, I always think, wants to be right, wants to win. It's a very aggressive place to have Mars. The 9th house is the natural house of Sagittarius. They're warriors. So, and that is Aquarius is it's flowing with that right now. And so I can just see where you might get into some type of debate or argument or something, and it just gets out of hand, and it just go over the top. It doesn't even need to go that far. Be aware that could happen. And that is on the 19th, because what a waste to waste that much energy and just go overboard when you really don't have to. And it could affect your health. So, don't do that. I would say not to do that. On the 20th, The sun is trine Chiron. Again, this is a pervading theme. It's a good chance to heal. And with Chiron being up in your 10th house, I just feel like you're going to get a lot of support from the everywhere. And even with your spouse or your partner or your most important relationship, because this is going to have the emphasis on the 7th house. Again, it's going to put emphasis there. And the sun is actually teetering between the 6. So it could be really more of your 6th house, like your work and your career. I wonder if you're going to be doing something different with work or career or something like that. I can see that you're healing and improving your health and things maybe in your job and your insecurities. I know that it may be that your insecurities are kind of there for the world to see, but at least it shows that you're healing and that things are improving, and you can work maybe even with that partner to get rid of those old wounds that hurt. Or like if you have problems with someone at work, you can use this time to heal whatever it is that is plaguing you at work. I don't just get a feeling that it could be something there that has to do with work. On the 22nd, the sun does enter Sagittarius. So now it's officially in the 7th house, not just like on the 7th house cusp. And so, now things are really going to have emphasis in the area of partnerships, relationships, marriage, and things like that. It's your opposition. Hopefully there's no enemies or arguing. It should be positive because Saggies like to stay positive. Yeah, they can be big warriors, and it could be a time of like War of the Roses, but don't do that. That's not necessary because it can be a very positive experience instead. Now, there's going to be a full moon in Gemini. Did you hear that? Full moon in Gemini. So here is sun in Sag, moon in Gemini, more of that me versus my partner stuff going on. Me fighting with my partner, me arguing with my partner, me loving my partner, whatever, me missing my partner. It's sort of the prevailing feeling all month, you versus your partner. And it's really going to come to a head on the 22nd of November, okay? Because that's when the full moon is in Gemini in your solar 7th house. And, the thing is, instead of trying to fix and heal that day, like going out to dinner with your partner and trying to make things up, I would say no. Avoid each other that day, because I can see all of a sudden out of the blue, you guys get into some philosophical argument over something or other, and things spiral out of control. So, and the relationships could feel like they're draining you that day, and you know how that is. So avoid that day. It's just not going to be a good day to try to work out and have conversations to fix or heal anything with your partner, or anything to do with relationships, business partnerships either. I mean, just lay low, because the tendency is going to be, especially for you with the full moon in your 1st house, you're going to be so up. You could be emotional, and what Geminis know what to do with emotions. It's just you're gonna feel like you're out of your skin that day, and so you need to be very cautious with that day. Okay. Now on the 24th, Neptune is direct in Pisces, and that is a very good thing. Wasn't it going to be nice? Maybe the confusion that's been going on up there might start to dwindle a little bit, because you'll be able to feel like a human again. You'll stop feeling so angry. Stop feeling so angry. It's not a good thing for your health to be so angry. It's time to relax. Neptune is direct in Pisces. It's happy again, and it's going forward in love and compassion and good will to men, it all returns, your smile returns, and I see, some positive things that can happen. Now, of course, Pisces in general, especially it's smack dab in the middle of Pisces, just about, it's going to affect most of the Geminis anyway in a really deep way because it's your 10th solar 10th house. It's very public, and your image, your reputation, maybe even your career is stuff that's seen, and now it's going to be a really affecting you, like your real persona, your actual person. So please be aware of the differences and the changes that occur after the 24th, when Neptune finally goes direct again and changes. Maybe you'll start to not feel so trapped, right? Or maybe trapped in your career, or just disillusioned in some things. I just can imagine all that, the havoc that Neptune wreaked, up in your 10th house during this retrograde. So let's hope everything starts to improve for all of us. All of us. On the 25th, the sun is conjunct Jupiter. It's good. That's another positive aspect for that seventh house again. Very lucky aspect, because this is said to be one of the luckiest days of the year. And even though it's opposed, it's in Sagittarius, not Gemini, it's opposed Gemini. But that means it highlights you guys, Gemini. Your relationship house is really highlighted. This is a good time, I think, to heal and really get over some of the real problems that you might have had in your deepest relationship, like your marriages and your business partnerships, or even with enemies. Like a great time to fix problems that you have with enemies and things like that. It's a really good flow that's going to be going through your solar seventh house during the month of November. And so I think it's a great time for you to really start looking at healing and fixing your relationships and making things a lot smoother. Now on the 26th, though, Mercury is going to be squaring Mars. When Mercury squares Mars, well, that's a time when people usually do fight because they can't understand each other. It's when you are miscommunicating with each other, and it can be a real problem. And that is going to be, again, your relationship house, and then your image. So, beware of a public dispute, beware of a public fight, beware of doing something like where everyone can see you just maybe having this crazy argument or something like that, or because people won't be able to understand what's going on. Nothing will make sense. Nothing will make sense to you. Maybe your partner won't make any sense that day. Whatever, there's going to be a lot of miscommunications, and it's all going to be so confusing. So I would avoid all of that. I wouldn't even try to do anything important with paperwork or documents or business proposals or hold a meeting or anything like that. Don't do any of first dates or, anything like that on the 26th. I would hold it off to another day when it'll be a lot safer to have a decent communication without it, turning into something bad. On the 27th, the sun is conjunct Jupiter. And that just shows that confidence returns. You're going to feel confident again. You got big dreams. You got hopes again. You believe again. And the sun is also going to be conjunct Mercury that day. So, you're a big thinker. You've got some big ideas. Some big things are happening. Big things could happen with your relationship. Again, it's your partnership house. So, I'm seeing that it's going to end fairly positive the month, I would think, for you and your partner. And hopefully you'll be able to work out and heal your relationships, your marriage, and things like that. Now, hold on before we end the month, though, on the 30th. And here we go again. On the 30th, Venus opposes Uranus. So love is back on the rocks, probably. But, Venus is probably going to be more that, because really that Uranus is going to be, well, it might be opposing your fifth house. Yeah, it is going to be love for you. It is. It's going to be between the fifth house and the 11th house. So maybe your love life is going to have some type of adverse effect on your friendships and groups and stuff like that. Maybe, it's just going to be some weird, crazy day, when it comes to that. So just try not to get into fights or stupid arguments. Why have a dumb argument? Now that you know the potential for that to happen on the 30th of November, mark the date. If you're trying to heal a relationship that's going sour, I wouldn't choose that date to try to fix it, because that is going to be a crazy day. It seems to be a week where there's some miscommunications anyway, ever since Mercury's made that square. So I would hold any major changes off this week, because that Venus opposite Uranus is nothing nice. It's really bad for relationships, and it's actually affecting your fifth house. Yeah. So, be wary of that. Also, be wary of doing anything impulsive or strange with your friends and groups and associates. I mean, a lot of them, I feel like they never knew you right now. And so, a lot of that may be part of the issue. But, and it just could be that your love life is so exposed, or something unique or weird or strange occurs. But either way, just be wary of all these things, because love is going to be crazy this day. And with that, I am going to end my reading for the month of November 2018 for all my wonderful Saggies. Or no, not Saggies, Geminis. I love my gems and I love my Saggies, because I have not talked to the Saggies yet. I'm going to have to talk to Saggies, because they're going to have to understand their role that they would play in the relationship issue if it's going sour, right? Love is not a one-way thing. And maybe that's why Saggies popped up in my mind. I need to talk to them. Love is a two-way street. So even if you got that love and feeling and it's in the right places for you, right? Your seventh house, your fifth house, I can see love returning. And it's best for it to be love than it to be bickering and arguing and fighting, right? I could see that. But the thing is, no matter how much you love your partner, if your partner doesn't want to be tied down, and if they're not listening and you can't communicate to them and they don't, that can be a problem. So I'm going to make sure. Oh, hi there. I just noticed someone has been here listening to me. But I'm going to go ahead and take my time with Sagittarius, because that's your partnership house. And I have a feeling that they're going to need deep conversation, just like I did with you. So, Gems, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for letting me ramble as I look over all the astrological aspects for the month of November for the sign of Gemini. Thank you so much love and much light to you all. Namaste.